And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. Satomi, you're a rock star. I'm Dub, and I'm with Satomi, and she's once again being a rock star and bringing in the most awesome people in the world. Tell us who you brought in for us today.
You know, Dub, I'm going to take that rock star moniker because I do have the absolute most amazing friends on this planet. Today, I am so excited to introduce to all of you to, she's an actor, a playwright, a writer, an editor, a Marvel Cinematic Universe super fan, and a 3-time cancer survivor and award-winning playwright of the Pink Hulk. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to present to you the incredible Miss Valerie David. Welcome,
Yay!
Valerie.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
So right off the bat, you wrote a play called Pink Hulk. We need to hear about the Pink Hulk. Can you tell us what is the Pink Hulk?
The Pink Hulk is, the tagline is one woman's journey to find the superhero within. And I am a 3-time cancer survivor and just got another clean bill of health. I had, years ago, I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3. And then 15 years later, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. And then when I was doing the Pink Hulk, the morning that I was walking into the theater to open the show in Portland, Oregon, I got a call from my oncologist that I indeed had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer that spread to my bones. So the show must go on. And I didn't let it stop me. And I did the show that night and I did the whole run. And it's all about empowerment, the show, and all about finding that inner superhero, not just to fight back cancer, but any adversity in life. Mm-hmm. So I put on the superhero cape. And even when I was diagnosed with stage 4, I still had Pink Hulk performances in other states. And I kept going. And what really struck me this time around is that I actually knew that I had cancer. So this wasn't a surprise when I had stage 4. I actually was at a writer's retreat and for a new show that I was developing that I'm doing as well called Baggage from Baghdad about my father's journey from Iraq to America. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there and I had these chest pains and I was like, something's not right. And I was in Connecticut looking at these beautiful mountains writing. And I said, you know what? Something's not right. So I called my oncologist and I said, I have cancer again. And she's like, oh, I'm sure it's a pulled muscle. I'm like, nope, it's cancer again. And indeed it was. So it is all about, empowerment and patient advocacy, the show. And I've done it all over. It's been in more than 40 festivals. 23 different cities, 4 different countries. I just came back from Iceland. And the thing about the show is that it's really identifying with audiences, not just in America, but overseas, about how we all have inner superheroes inside of us to fight any adversity in life and to never, ever, ever give up hope. And so 5 months after I started just oral treatment, I have no evidence of disease.
Oh, that is awesome.
No evidence of disease. So everything, even the lesions that were on my chest and rib cage and the bones, there is no trace of it.
That is so amazing to hear. That is, I'm not going to tell tales out of school, but I know there's a lot of people that are on the show that are being indirectly hit by cancer right now. So I would really like to hear, how do you keep that positive mindset? I mean, both as the person that's going through it and the people that are going through it with them. I mean,
it's been such an incredible journey because I will be honest with you, Dub, in saying that, when I was diagnosed while I was performing the show, I have to say my own show helped me to get through this. And it's helping so many people because I Gilda's Club, which is now called the Red Door Community, I do a workshop every month with cancer patients and survivors. And the show has become more than just the show. I do talkbacks after the shows with the audience and Q&As. And there are so many people who come up to me afterwards and saying that you're giving me so much hope because, if I can do it, you can do it. And I really truly believe that if we can believe in ourselves and get the right support team, there's nothing that we can't do. And I'm living proof that this can
Mm.
happen. And with the medications I'm on, there's so much breakthrough medicines and breakthrough treatments that cancer doesn't have to be the scary thing it was or a death sentence that this could have been 10 years ago without all of the advanced medication and advanced research. And so I feel that with the show, I can become the pink Hulk, the superhero, to say, I'm here for you. I'll pull you from the other side.
Hmm.
I'll pull you through that dark tunnel into a tunnel of light. And I truly believe that. And it's just been such a journey. I There's one story in particular where I was doing the show at the Baltimore Fringe Festival, and I saw this woman in the front row, and she didn't have hair, and I knew she was probably in treatment. And the things that I was saying to the show was funny too, because it's also about my quest to search for love. So you have to see if I have a happy ending. And so Satomi has seen the show, so she knows. And it's all about like when I was losing my hair, this first time with lymphoma, it was really, really hard for me. But then when I was getting chemo again for breast cancer, this time I made a party out of it. And I had a head shaving birthday party
Hmm.
at the salon. And this is all in the show. And the woman, the hairdresser, put my hair all in ponytails, and everyone came up to me. All my friends, I had like 10 friends, and they with me, and they started
Hmm.
cutting my hair and having the locks of hair with me, which I can show you. I have. And so then they all gave me a wish when they cut my hair, and they kept the locks of hair. And then a year later, we had a birthday party, and they brought the locks of hair back to celebrate being
Wow.
cancer free. And I could grab them for you if you'd like. I have them. And it was just such an incredible journey. And so with this woman in the front row, I I I I could see her when I had that segment, shaking her head like, you know what? Instead of my hair falling out, I'm going to shave it off before it falls out. So ha ha ha, gotcha. And so after the show, and it's all about empowerment and getting the right team and doctors and the right support network, and this is all in the show. She came up to me and she said, I'm battling breast cancer, and your show is inspiring me to fight my own cancer. And then four
Hmm.
months later, she started radiation, and she reached out to me and she said, Valerie, I'm starting radiation today, and I'm thinking about you and your show, and I want you to send me your hope colors. So it was just
Oh.
such an incredible, so incredible to be a part of her journey. And she had a Facebook Live where she had her last treatment, and you ring the bell at the hospital to say, this is it," and all the nurses cheer. And I watched it on Facebook Live from New York, and we've been friends ever since. But it's really been impactful helping. Like a husband came up to me and said, seeing your show, it made me understand what my wife was going through, where maybe she couldn't communicate because it was hard for her. And then I did the show in Sweden, where English is not their first language, and people were saying that even in in another country it translated, and I
Hmm.
got the WOW award in the Gothenburg, Sweden Fringe Festival. So it's not about the awards, but it was a testament to the fact that the
Yeah.
show is really relating to people and identifying with people.
Well, I
And,
think
and
what
it's
is
funny too. It's funny, there's a lot of humor. So
Well, I think part of what's going on with your show, 'cause yes, I did see it, and I actually was, um we spent time together when you had been diagnosed the 3rd time and were still performing and was in the process of rewriting your show. to include this third time. You had not even beaten the third time yet. And you were like, you were furiously writing at it. And I think what makes it so powerful, and I highly recommend if Valerie is ever near you doing the show to go see it, is that even though it is your journey through cancer, I think one of the reasons that it resonates so deeply is because cancer becomes sort of this umbrella of adversity. Because we've all, Effie, we all got pain, and I don't mean that in a dismissive way. I
Yes.
mean, like literally, we all have pain, and we all have mountains that are larger than we've ever climbed before. And watching your incredibly inspirational story, and of course channeled through you are just one of the most delicious people I know. Valerie and I came up actually in an over at MTB studio, an acting studio in New York together before either one of us had come to the accomplishments that we have now. And I remember watching her in class, and she was just one of the most sincere, like, she got up there and you're like, I love you. Go ahead, say whatever you want. I love you. And she, in her show, channels that so beautifully. Um, that watching the show is just part of the experience, is getting to bask in this incredible heart.
Yeah.
And you know how some people walk into a room and you just feel held by them.
I was
And
going to
that is
say that.
Valerie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not
Yeah.
even in the same room.
You can feel
Yes.
it, right?
I'm pulling my cape on you, and I'm hugging you with my cape.
It's like super amounts of positivity that it's really amazing. You're talking about some pretty deep stuff there, and I'm like sad and happy, and yeah, you just have a really amazing presence like that. Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that and I'll be honest with you, I was afraid at first to reveal that I had cancer, and it was a huge decision, because I was worried that, so I was a 2-time cancer survivor when I wrote the show, and now I have cancer again. And so what do I tell the audience? Like, the show is supposed to be this inspiring, empowering show. And it's like, well, I have cancer again, and this time it's stage 4. Ooh, uh-oh. But I remember the woman who helped me do the new endings, she said to me, are you the Pink Hulk? And I was like, yes. She goes, well, if you're the Pink Hulk, you've got to show all the colors of the Pink Hulk. And you can't do this show without revealing what's really going on in your life, because you've got to be truthful, and you've got to do this, or else don't do the show. She's like, you either do this or you don't. And so it was really, really tough for me to have to admit to the audience, before I found out that the stage 4 was no trace of it. And I remember I introduced it in Virginia Beach, which is where I grew up, and nobody knew except for my family, and they were all in the audience. And so, when I finished the last line, which is, "What? My color is bright pink," I said to the audience, well, there's something I've got to tell you. And the whole audience, and I said, I was recently re-diagnosed with cancer, but I am going to reactivate the superhero within. And I said, just like I fought it the last 2 times, I'm going to fight it again. And then the last lines were like, the Pink Hulk persists, the Pink Hulk exists. Stay tuned. And then this puff of pink smoke came, and it was like the audience went, ah! And everyone was crying, and they were like, I didn't know you had cancer again. Oh my gosh. And then 10 days later, I found out that the medicine worked. And then I had to call everyone and go, I'm okay now. I'm okay now. Everything's fine. And so then I had to rewrite it again to say, there's no evidence of disease. And the last line of this third ending is, never, ever, ever give up. And so it was such a journey. And, it was like, So, but now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this and be like, oh, I was always happy and yeah, everything is great. Cancer's fun. Like, wow, I recommend it for everybody. You think COVID's great? Try cancer, So, so that's why, it means so much now to have this adversity. And even with the pandemic, what we're going through, I never stopped performing virtually. And people were saying, even with this time, there, there's so much going on in our, world that we need hope more than ever. So that's why, I'm doing the show, and I do have in-person performances, and we can talk about that later, that I just booked for Manhattans. And in Iceland, I just came back and did in-person performances and got an award there as well, the Act Solo Award. So I was really honored, and a shout out to the Reykjavik Fringe Festival. And that's what I've loved about the festival circuit, is that I really developed the show, doing the show in the planetarium. And then my favorite venue was a hotel room, and I entered the hotel room from the bathroom, starting my show, and people sat on the bed watching the show. I mean, it sounds a little lascivious, but it was really just. And it's like, what else does the Big Hulk do? But
well, I've seen the show. It could be.
Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah, that's true. You've seen it. Yeah, and so and that's what I loved about the festival, doing it, in an art gallery, doing it, as I said, in an old planetarium, and a small theater, a big theater, 700 seat theater, a 2,000 seat theater, 10 people in a hotel room. So it's really had such a journey. And I think that, it's, and I want to stress that it's a show not just about cancer. I had someone from Iceland message me that he said, I was so depressed because my girlfriend broke up with me, and and I saw your show and I felt better, and then I had two friends that say, I don't like my job and I'm going to quit because your show inspired me to live life on my own terms. So they both started their own business.
Wow.
So it goes beyond the show, and doing the talkbacks, and I do workshops with improv exercises and writing exercise. So the Pink Hulk has become a crusade and a mission, not just the show and performing. It's
now,
being part of the community.
You named the Pink Hulk after a Marvel character.
And ask about that.
You have a connection. Listen up, geeks, because this is so cool. So first of all, tell us the story of how you came up with I happen to know it, but
yes,
I love listening to it. How you came up with the name, and then what that connection ended or was, that certainly blew my mind. So if you could share that with us.
Yes, absolutely. So the Pink Hulk couldn't be a better name. So how this evolved and why it became the Pink Hulk. I'll first, briefly just explain the actual name. So the Pink Hulk. So we know that the ribbon for breast cancer is pink. And then I had lymphoma, and I didn't know this till I started writing the show, and I had lymphoma, that their ribbon was green, the lime green of the Incredible Hulk. So the Pink Hulk is both cancers represented, the Pink Hulk. And then what happened was, I went to high school with Mark Ruffalo, and he was my superhero through all the cancers. And in fact, and why the Hulk? Because the Hulk gets his power through his anger, right? He gets angry, and then he does incredible things, saving people and the universe. So when I got cancer a second time, I was so angry because I was like, what? I already had cancer. I checked that off, and now I have cancer again, and a new cancer and a different cancer that, I was worried was going to rob me of my womanhood, and So when I was diagnosed with breast cancer the second time, I was so angry that I emailed Mark at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I said, Mark, I'm so angry. I got cancer again, and I'm so angry. I could be the Hulk too, but I would be your pink counterpart. And didn't know that what the name of the show was. And he has been my superhero throughout this, checking in. And I'm going to make you laugh. Like when I finished treatment the second time for cancer, he gave me an orchid. And I killed the orchid, but I saved what it was in, and I'll show you. Like it was really funny, and I hope I can see this. But when I finished treatment, he had sent an orchid to my work, and here's the orchid, and there's me, like with it. And then I didn't know that you're not supposed to water an orchid very often, so I drowned it, and so I kept the base of it, and and I even went back to the plant store, and I was like, I just killed a plant that Mark Ruffalo gave me, and then they were like, they tried to save it, and they gave me this little nub, and but it was really funny. So he's been my superhero, and he was actually going to see the show, but he was filming his TV series and couldn't see it. So now I'm hoping that he'll do that. And we've had such an amazing history together. He just inspires me. And the other thing is why with the Hulk is that in the show, I have a radiation scene. And that's how the Bruce Banner became the Hulk, was a radiation mishap. Mm-hmm. So it was perfect to segue the Pink Hulk through my own radiation, because that changed me. And it was so incredible, Dub and Satomi, in the radiation room, the actual radiation room, where you get it, it was probably the scariest part for me, because you're by yourself. It's like you're not having someone hold your hand. You're in a steel door, trap door with the radiation symbols, saying, like danger kind of thing. And you're by yourself.
God.
It was, with chemo, you could have someone sitting with you, and, but I had someone in the waiting room always waiting for me, but I was by myself. But in the actual radiation room, there was a crisscross of lime green rays, just like the Hulk. So I remember, when I was getting radiation, I kept thinking about Mark and thinking about the Hulk and getting me through that. And that the rays weren't something to fear, and they were healing me. They were transforming me into the fact that it was trying to kill the cancer, not kill my soul. And I think when that happened, it became, like the medication is not something you fear. It's something you embrace, because you know what you're doing, whether you're getting chemo or surgery or the radiation, which I've had all three, that it is something that's healing you. It's not hurting you. Mm-hmm. And that story of Bruce Banner, it created him to who he is today. And you'll hear many cancer patients and survivors say that cancer, helped them become a better person, helped them appreciate life. Instead of depleting my life, it's enriched my life. I'm so grateful for the opportunities. This is a poster from one of the shows, the people I've met, and the other thing, it's not like, oh, I'm the Pink Hulk, I bestow all this knowledge and inspiration on you. It's not that. It's a two-way street. I am so inspired by the audiences that have given me gifts and bracelets and jewelry. Like they'll take off. Here's my breast cancer ring. I want you to have it. I had all these gifts. I had someone give me pink sunglasses, and now I use them in the show. So I have my radiation wedge that I actually had in the radiation room. I use it in the show. So many of what I had in my cancer journey, I actually use now for my show. Yeah. So it's really been incredible to be able to use these things to help me, that help me get through everything. So he's been great.
So let me ask you a question, as the West Coaster that I am, and a lot of our show is. Are you ever on the West Coast? And if not, do you do a video shot, or is there anything that so we could the rest of the world can
Yes.
see this?
Yeah, actually, I did the show in 2018 at Whitefire Theater on Ventura Boulevard in
Right
Sherman
on.
Oaks. So and I'm hoping to come back. I had such a great time. So I've done the West Coast. I did Portland and Seattle, and I'm going to be refilming it for my Manhattan shows in October. So yeah, so I love the West Coast, and I did it on the West Coast, and it was so much fun. And then I also wanted to share. I wrote an article about Mark years ago
Oh,
that
right on.
yeah, that were in the Virginia pilot.
It looks so young.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, this was from when he like from when he was in You Can Count on Me had just come out. So it's just been such. We've been friends for years, and it was really hard to tell him about the other diagnosis. And he said to me, I wish I could be the Hulk and Hulk this out of you. But I say to him, you did. And I have so many wonderful friends like Satomi and a wonderful family that helped me through this, and wonderful doctors. So, I definitely did not do this alone. And I'm very grateful for all of the friends and family that I had that got me through this.
I love that you're still so passionate about it. When you do a show for a long time, some people lose the magic, and some people it just grows and grows and sustains. And that's an art in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing, people often ask, how do you do the same show over and over again? And it's like, well, it's not the same show every time you do it. But it seems like your passion has just grown with the show and with the changes and with the exposure and everything that it can do for the people around you, which is pretty incredible.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I have not stopped, and I don't want to stop. I don't want any more new endings. That I have 3 endings for the show, and we are keeping it that way. And I've been just really grateful that since April of 2019 up until last week and even yesterday, everything came back fine. All the tests. So that keeps inspiring me. It keeps saying, it's a message to say, keep going, keep going, keep going, because I don't want to stop. And it's really just been one of the highlights of my life. And I'm so grateful for all the wonderful audiences I've had, and all the connections I've made, through all the cities, and the friends I've made. And so it's really been, and I'm inspired by other people's solo shows. It's a wonderful family that you really become. And even today, I'm doing a solo show conference, virtually with LA, that Los Angeles Women's Virtual Empowerment Weekend, Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival. So it's just, and that's all today and tomorrow. So I just keep going, and I'm trying to find new outlets to do the show in more than just the show, like community engagement activities. Like when I went to Sweden, I taught improv to students that were at the university there. And so it's really become such a great thing. And what I love about Marvel is that what I identified most with is that all the superhero characters had come from tragedy, right? Batman, a shout out to DC. Batman saw his parents become deceased, and he became Batman. Captain America came out of World War II. Magneto came out of World War II. And Bruce Banner came out of the mishap in the laboratory. So, we know that what comes out of mud, the lotus flower. So I identify with that my mud was my cancer, but the lotus flower bloomed into the pink bulb. So that's why I'm the biggest superhero geekdom. I love superheroes because, and even Superman, came out of his planet being destroyed, and having to start a new life his parents sent him to America in a spaceship, so every superhero has a story behind it from whence they came. And X-Men are all series are all mutants, but they use their powers to help people.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I love the superhero genre and why it's called, one woman's journey to find the superhero within.
Well, while we're mixing the superhero metaphor for a second, I actually have something I'm going to send you. It's a blue ring. Now, what the blue ring is, it's a Green Lantern thing, and the blue ring is hope. And as long as the Blue Lantern is around someone else, they take their power and increase it. And I feel like that's you. I'm going to send you that ring because I think that you're giving a lot of people a lot of hope. I mean,
that's the message. That's and empowering.
I mean, just in a heavy way,
Thank you. Yeah, and just even like, I in the show I was allergic to one of the drugs, and I knew something was wrong, and I kept telling the doctor something's not right, and then they're like, oh well, it's like I have trouble breathing, something's not right. So they're like, oh, we'll get you to see a pulmonologist, but it never materialized. So I called the pulmonologist myself and I said, do you have any appointments today? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I'm coming over right now. So I gave myself an appointment and came that day. And it turns out that I was allergic to the drugs and they stopped, one of the drugs. So it's that empowerment that had I not called and said, I'm going to take matters in my own hands and say something's not right. And, even, if you're, and it's a message to say, if you're not happy with your care, then, switch doctors, even financially. I remember, and I do this at the talkback, that I had 2 outstanding bills of almost $10,000, and that was from the co-pays, right? So, the insurance company covered thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but they, I had out of pocket about 10,000, so I called the financial department of the hospital and I got it pardoned, because I said, look, you've gotten so much money from my insurance company, this is a financial hardship for me. And I was like, I don't want a payment plan. I want it erased. So, and they erased it. So it's, finding those ways to say, even, if you're not happy in a relationship, change it. It's all about the power within ourselves, the finding the superhero within to say, I'm not happy. I want to change my life and having the power to do it.
That's
so
self-advocacy, which is something that is, it's often difficult, it's particularly for women, because it's finding that balance where you can truly come at it from a place of grounding and knowing what's right, so that you can be heard versus, flying off the handle so that people push you off. And then of course the other side that we do hear more often about is the shrinking violet and I'm just going to sit here and take it because I have no other recourse. So that's also so incredibly inspiring about the show, is realizing that we do have a voice and there is a way to accomplish what you need to get done. It might be difficult. It might take some practice, but I think one of your superpowers is you have earned righteousness. So there's a righteousness that's the blustering, and it's really not truthful righteousness. It's just har, 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 har. This is whatever higher power says. So I'm gonna fight for this without logic or without I'm not putting it well, but there's a feeling behind it. Whereas yours is, no, this isn't right. I've looked at it. I really have looked at this situation. I'm not being unreasonable, and I am going to stand up for what is truly right. And it's a superpower. It's a superpower that you have. I admire
Thank
that.
you so much. And that also too, to push through the fear and the doubts, because you
Mhm.
also saw in the show that I finished radiation in February, the end of February, and 2 months later, I was biking in a 40-mile bike ride after having 8 months of treatment, and I had such self doubt that I could complete the marathon of 40 miles with 5 Hour Bike Tour. And I remember
More
the
than I can
night.
do.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I can do it now, but then, I remember, emailing my friends the night before and I said, I'm not going to finish this. I'm going to maybe do 5 or 10 miles. And I said, so don't worry about me. Just go on without me and I'll drop out, when I get tired. But the next morning, my friend told me afterwards, she was like, I knew you could do it. And Dub and Satomi, I hit mile 10. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. I don't know. It was still that fear. And I said, okay. Then I'm hitting mile 20. And I was like,
Mm.
I'm halfway through this marathon. And then I was hitting mile 30. And I was like, I think I might be able to do this. And then, the last, going the Verrazano Bridge is the last part of it, and it's really uphill. And I
Yes, it
remember
is.
just, it was like being at the La Brea tar pits, like it was like my
Yeah.
legs were like, go, go. And then you hit this midpoint, and then it's downhill, and you turn the corner, and it's the finish line. And I remember when I hit the midpoint, I just started screaming. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm reaching mile 40. And I was crying. I'm sure people around me was like, this woman is having a meltdown. She's crazy. And I was started going, yeah, yeah, and screaming and screaming. And then when I hit the finish line, I was like, I started yelling to all the volunteers. I was like, I just finished treatment for breast cancer. And they're like, yay. And they're clapping and cheering. But crossing that finish line wasn't about crossing the literal finish line. It was crossing the figurative finish line of I beat you, cancer. And and I will continue to run you down, And
That
so
is amazing.
it was just, that was like that was probably one of the highlights of my life, because
Yeah.
I didn't think I could do it. I honestly didn't think I could do it. But I had my friends behind me and in front of me, like we were like a wolf pack, like keep going, keep going. And it was one of the most triumphant times of my life, because I didn't think I was going to do it. So it's also about pushing through that fear
Yeah.
and self doubt that we all have. We all continue to have. I have my not so good days.
Yeah.
I have days where I'm just like, oy vey, but you just have to push through it
Yeah.
and keep going. And knowing, and I did do a bike marathon where I crashed, a couple of years later.
Mhm.
But okay, get back on the bike and start doing it. But that bike race, right after finishing all that stuff, and that was really a triumphant moment. And that's what I share with the audience
Yeah.
and share with whoever sees it. That it's like that little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And then you do it, and not without a lot of help and love.
Now, Valerie, you have just an inspiring story. This is amazing. I'm going to cut you off though, because I want an excuse to bring you back. So
Yes.
I feel like there's a
But
lot more to talk about.
Yes, but I do want to share my Wonder Woman doll.
Oh, that's cool.
Yay,
This
Linda
is
Carter.
circa 19 and I want to show you. It's the original doll that has
very cool.
the lasso, and and I love, I know she's DC. She has a Marvel heart, but and I love all superheroes. So I wanted to share that, and my hair looks like this in the morning, also like her hair.
Then
But
I'm
this is
in.
the Linda Carter doll that I wanted to end. That we all have superpowers, and we all have a superhero inside of ourselves.
That's outstanding.
Yes.
So can you let everybody know where to find you and stuff?
Yes, thank you, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It's pinkholeplay.com. My handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are at pinkholeplay. I have performances coming up in Manhattan, October 27th, 28th, and 30th. That will be on my website at the Cell Theater. That I'm very excited about. So, follow me and friend me. And I want to thank Satomi and Dub for having me on this show. It's an honor. And I just, I know you're a big Green Lantern fan, right? And and I thank you for the gift that you're going to be sending. And I know that Satomi, loves Doctor Who, so I'm with you in the superhero land, and I know we all have our favorites. We all love them, and we all have our favorites too. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming on. It's been an honor on our side completely. So
thank you.
Check out Valerie's stuff. Until next time, I'm Dub with Satomi and Valerie. Keep on geeking on, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.